Welcome to the stage, author, artist, and meditation teacher, Elena Brower.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jody Levy, you're at the top of my list. I love you so much. I want to thank you for the immaculate job that you've done here. I want to thank your dad and your mom and all the boys for finding me in the first place, and Glow for putting me in front of the boys, I don't know, 15 years ago or something, and getting me here somehow. I also want to thank all of my teachers. One of them is Adam in Q. I want to give him a quick thank you. He taught me how to write, speak, memorize, care, riff. I also want to thank Ali Bogart. For being my best friend. And James. Dr. Linda, with whom I will be speaking at 2:30, who helped me pull my shit together. Wait till you see Dr. Linda if you can come back here for 2:30. She is an important voice for all of us. And my nervous system, I want to thank my nervous system. I think we should all be making a habit of doing this on a regular basis. Julia, thank you for saving Jeff. I mean that. There are 3 intentions today. One is that we're going to integrate death as a practice. If you are in any way kind of averse to the conversation around death, if you've come close to it and shied away, as I did the first few times, this is going to be a practice for us that we will bring into our lives in a very conscious way, very easy way, very beautiful way. I'm excited to share it with you. The second intention is really to, by integrating death, bring ease to our hearts and our nervous systems on a regular basis. It's here. Death is here. It's at our backs. Let's not be afraid. Let's actually bring it into every single thing that we do and be a force for ease and contentment because of it. And the third intention is to see how each of us is as Marcella. Where are you? There she is. Hi, sister. Thank you also to you and to Alberto for being my teachers and my friends. Thank you. Marcella referenced each of us is an island of coherence. We are creating, as a community, an island of coherence. And I'm very, very interested in seeing how each of us is this island in the face of grief and transition and change in our lives. How many of you feel like you've been an island of coherence in a situation, recent or distant? Great. So we're knowing what this feels like. And this is really to invite us, this talk, to come very close to the concept of death, to allow ourselves to get comfortable in that space, and to think about maybe someone you know who might be moving closer to death and how you can serve them in a way that doesn't require anything of you or drain you in any way, but just your presence can serve. So first, just close your eyes for a couple of moments. You can sit up tall. Ali's deft instruction of telescoping your spine upward is really nice, and you could be like Jackie Onassis on the subway who didn't let her back touch the seat. I always think about that. And as you sit, just take a few deep breaths, brief regulation. Allow each inhalation to be a way of gathering your attention, and each exhalation to be a way of settling your attention. Just take a few breaths like that. Inhaling to gather your attention from all the parts of this weekend. Each exhalation a way to settle your energy. And feel yourself very much like a mountain sitting down in the tangle of your life. Seeing yourself as a momentary process rather than an entity. Feeling how the presence of death has landed in your life to date. What has it meant for you? Where has it lived in your experience? And I would invite you to consider someone you love who's passed through this plane at some stage, whether recent or distant, and hold them in your mind and see their face, their features. Perhaps you can hear their voice. Sometimes I can smell my mom. I know that she's there. And then move this consideration into your heart and hold that person in your heart. Really move them from your mind to your heart space. And feel what's there. Take a deep breath. And exhale completely. Once again, a big breath in. And exhale. And before you open your eyes, just feel what's left in your heart when the concept of this person evaporates. And I would invite you to consider that what's left is love. You can slowly open your eyes. I have a few teachers in this realm, and according to one of them, his name is Frank Ostaseski. If you haven't heard of him, I would recommend his book, The 5 Invitations. We're going to walk through those invitations today. He implores us to remember that death is not actually a medical event. Death is not a medical event. It is the only chance that we get to be finally, fully ourselves. And the only thing we get to bring with us is that feeling, the love that you were just left with when you considered the person who passed. That's all we get. So how are we cultivating that feeling as we move through our lives? This is the sort of big question, the only thing that we can take with us in indigenous cultures. As we were reminded a little bit by Marcella and Alberto on Thursday, death is woven into daily life as a constant presence. It's not this thing that when it's brought up in front of a child and the adult standing next to the child is like, ixnay on the death talk. It's actually a part of everything. It's woven into every ritual. It's woven into every meal, every conversation. It's for them, for these cultures, it's a return, it's a certain level of respect, it's a reverence. In Taoist teachings, those of you who are familiar with the Tao, you know there's these two elemental principles, absence and presence. Absence of the two, absence is the fundament of the culture. If you've ever read the little book of the Tao, you're starting to feel this in your own body. You're resonating with it because absence is what is focused on. And it's a very generative force, this absence. It's a very feminine force. If you think about from whence you came, there was a big void in the womb of the mother, and then a becoming from the absence. The third intention that we have, how do we become these islands of coherence? And I want to share a little personal work with you. So I've spent the last 5 years as a student of Zen, which if you knew me 10 years ago when I first, or 12 years ago when I first started coming to Summit, you would never have guessed that. No, but now I'll just bow quietly in memory of that human, that I love her a lot. And as a student of Zen, I've taken the precepts, which are a series of vows that you take after a number of years of study. And these vows are basically ways to live your life. They prevent me from telling a lie. They prevent me from stealing, killing the little bug that I used to be like, no. Now I'm just like, oh, honey, come here. You got this. It's really quite hilarious. I'm laughing all the time. I'm now a candidate for chaplaincy, for Buddhist chaplaincy. And what that means is whether or not I become an actual chaplain is of no consequence. I'm going to be practicing communal chaplaincy, which means that in every one of my interactions in commerce, business, anything that I do, I am bringing the spirit of chaplaincy with me. I am bringing the presence that I am asking you to invite into your lives. I'm bringing this invitation to death with me. I am seeing that everything has a life cycle and nothing is left out of this cycle. As such, I'm also doing some volunteer work. So 3 years ago, I started volunteering in a level 2 men's penitentiary, which is where I teach yoga and meditation once a month to these very fine gentlemen, all of whom could be any of us here, who just completely fucked up in a way that was so silly. And I don't get the opportunity to ask them what has happened or how long they will be there, but I get to really give them my own presence as a way of offering them dignity. It is a beautiful exchange. And I love the work so much. And sometimes I'm teaching them and I'll be, taking this, position, and I'll be like crossing timelines, and I'll be, with Ali teaching a retreat in Italy, or I'll be under the Eiffel Tower teaching a big class, and then I look around and I realize I'm in the visiting room, and there are the little cages where they sit the family members, and I'm just like, wow, what's real? Everything ends. Nothing is here. And I just want to invite you to think about how that plays out in your life. The second volunteer placement that I've had for the last couple of years is hospice. Anyone ever been in a hospice setting? Cool. Who's never been in a hospice setting? Okay, so it's a good amount of us. Interesting. Hospice was formed so that people who were dying would be left to die. If you haven't checked any of this work out, it's nice to check out Stephen Jenkinson, who has a beautiful free film called Grief Walker that I would recommend. And those of us who haven't been in the presence of somebody dying, hospice was formed because there was too much medical intervention when people were passing. The sort of medical system is designed to try and keep people alive at all costs. Much pain is caused by this effort. And if you've ever seen somebody who's afraid to die or been kept alive, you know how very awkward, confusing, painful, unnecessary it is. So hospice. The hospice settings in which I work, one is in home, so I'll go to people's homes where there's somebody who's passing. Sometimes it's as simple as doing dishes for the kid who's being with their ailing parent. Sometimes it's as profound as helping that child of the ailing parent kind of move the blanket from underneath the parent, shift the parent over to their side so that we can then change their diaper. Or you know how dogs have a wee-wee pad? We use those in the hospital bed, so change that pad. Similarly to the penitentiary, to offer dignity in those moments is not just the gift that I'm giving, but the person in the bed who is so embarrassed and afraid and can't believe that this is where they're at right now. To give them dignity is one of the most satisfying practices I have. And it propels me forward in a way that I can't really put into words. But I'm going to try. I have a few examples of some of the people with whom I've sat in hospice and what they've taught me. This is brief. We'll start with Paula. She was 59 when she landed. The second placement that I have is a small 5-bed hospice in Santa Fe. It's called Scott's House. It's non-for-profit, raising about $250,000 a year, and people can just come for free. They don't have the money to be in hospice. It is the most beautiful. We get donations all the time of everything from diapers to blankets to pillows, and we are there, the volunteers and the nurses, and we take care of them. Lots of retired nurses are there as well. Beautiful. Paula was there, 59, beautiful face, too young. I knew she was too young. So I went over to the side of the fridge, and I found the DNR, and I looked for her name, and I went onto LinkedIn, and I found her. What a force. And she had nobody there with her. Her kids would come and go, but there was nobody there all the time. And I became very obsessed. This was like my first time I got obsessed with one of the patients. FYI, not a good idea. Don't do that. I was giving her facials, manicures, foot rubs. You know, when you feel a kind of kindred familiarity. Anyway, it turns out I did meet her children who are, kind of between, she's 59, I'm 55. The kids are like late 30s. Great humans, all of them. And she's very much like me, as it turns out. She had a lot of cognitive decline. She was a cook and a gardener and all the things that hiker. And then also she was an alcoholic, and she had a really hard time, and the kids had a really hard time. In the end, just being there with her when the kids would come, they saw how I was with her, because I had no backstory, no context. I was just giving her like all of my attention and care, and the space changed between them. Not because of anything I did, not because of the facial or the manicure, but because of how I was, just present, fully present in my attention with her. That was a learning that was hard won. I went too far in. I was too much in love. I was too much in so many ways with her. And as I backed up, I realized all the kids needed to see was me being present for their mom. She died a few months later. She was 60. Marcella, this is the gal who her body wouldn't let go. My head Marcella taught me how to unhook her chakras, basically. And so there's a very specific order of events, and I'm not going to do it here, but oh my God, don't do that. And within 24 hours of that process, she passed peacefully, which was very beautiful to watch and a good learning. William, 55, my age, he was about to go on this drastic, vast river kayaking trip across the country, down into Mexico, Central America, South America. He was so excited. He packed up his brand new truck, his pickup truck. Everything was ready. And he had this weird stomach something. Within 24 hours, body riven with cancer everywhere. The truck he gave to his best friend, the kayak he gave to another friend. He landed in Scott's house at our hospice, and I proceeded to not get so much involved and in love, but I did go to Clafouti once a week and get him his favorite breakfast sandwich. And that was nice. What he taught me, though, was joy. James and I met him a few times. He taught me how to remember my friends and how to feel joy in everything that I do. To watch him eat, he would eat this breakfast sandwich, but he would be knowing that within 30 minutes he was going to be deathly nauseous and miserable. But he would eat the sandwich with so much gusto and vigor because he loved it so much. I bring this element of joy into everything I do now, even with my kid, even when my kid is a jerk to me. He's now 18. I bring joy because of William. In the end, he chose medical assistance in death, and I'll talk about that with you now. Has anyone never heard of medical assistance in death? Never heard of it. Okay, cool, just one. That's great. The last example I'll give you is Lou. She was 83. She lived a long life. It was James's mom. What a beauty. She was a scientist, a real doubter. She was having nothing to do with medical assistance in death whatsoever. She was going to die naturally, and it was going to take a long time. Thanks to a really good friend of mine, her name is Sierra Campbell. She founded a company called Nurture. And Nurture is definitely what you want to look up, nurture.co, if you are interested in learning more about all of these processes and how to welcome them into your life in a conscious way. Her Instagram is Choose Nurture. And I always share it because she's just the best resource we have right now. She became Lou's free doula. She introduced Lou to a doctor in Santa Fe who does medical assistance in death. And this doctor, wonderful Dr. Stewart, he ended up bringing her through 2 medically assisted ketamine sessions. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but this is something we all need to sort of keep on our radar. In these 2 sessions, by the second one, she said, she came back from it, and she was like, okay, I'm ready to die. She was laying down in the session, and she said everywhere in her body where she felt pain, a mycelial structure was growing beneath it in her vision, where she felt pain. And she said, now I'm ready to go. At this point, her legs were so edemic, it was really hard for her to even walk, and she did the medical assistance in death. Would anyone like to hear just a little tiny bit about that process? Okay, I don't want to do it if it's... So she wanted me to serve cha dao tea. So we got a few of her friends together. I served tea. I was really nervous. We played beautiful music. We had Father Rick come in. Father Rick is the Franciscan friar with a really big beard, really short, really handsome, beautiful salt and pepper, brown robes, a Guatemalan sash. Biggest smile you ever saw. This man loves being around the dying. And he came in and was just like a force of energy, positivity, love, care. He made her feel so happy and easeful. And then Dr. Stewart was there, and she saw like a little darshan with each of us, and then she had the medicine. She laid down in her little hospital bed, which we put in the center of all of us. And I turned on a version of the Heart Sutra by an artist called Neil, N-E-I-L-L. Most beautiful. The Heart Sutra, it went on, and she'd been sort of studying and interested in the Heart Sutra for some time during this period. I had introduced her to Roshi Jo in Halifax. She'd been to Upaya Zen Center. She was kind of into all of it. She was diverging and opening, and her teaching was to stay open. So I turned on the Heart Sutra, and she goes, "Is that the Heart Sutra?" And that was the end. The Heart Sutra is all about ushering, it's a Bodhisattva Sutra, ushering others to the shore before you usher yourself to the other shore. Think about it. So, keeping death close. There's a term in Japanese, shoji, life, death, birth, death. It's one word. Frank teaches this a lot. How do we keep these two concepts very, very close in our bodies, in our hearts, in our minds? This is an important consideration, emphasizing the interconnectedness of the two, not separate. We don't have to wait for the wisdom of death. Death is a feminine, generative, a feminine, generative energy. This is not the end at all. We don't have to wait. And Frank's 5 invitations are really important for me right now. I've spent the last 5 years, probably several months of the last 5 years, facing the wall, practicing Zazen, sitting very still. And the one thing I've learned is that this body is not, it's not an entity. Like we said at the very beginning of this talk, it's a process. It's a momentary process. There's nothing to it. And when you sit still for a really, really long time, you start to feel as though your clothes are hanging on some empty hanger, and you begin to dissolve and pulse, and there's something else happening that has nothing to do with your name, your body, your face, your clothes, who you are, your job, nothing. So the invitations, I want to make sure that I get to these, and then we have a practice together. The 5 invitations. Number 1, don't wait. Don't wait. What is it you're thinking of when I say don't wait? Whatever it is, hold it, and then let it go. But don't wait. Don't forget when you leave here. The idea is to become an apprentice to your own disappearance. It's so exciting. It makes it so that you can shave your hair off and you don't care. You allow all that is difficult to touch you deeply without shrinking or shying away. The second of the invitations is to push away nothing. Welcome everything. Who's afraid to die here? I'm a little bit afraid, less so now. Okay? As you're falling asleep, one of the practices that you can do is just place hands on your body and just kind of pretend like, okay, these are the last few breaths. My whole family is around me. All the people, whoever you love, soul family, is around. Can you practice just letting go of the body? What would that feel like? It's such an interesting practice. At first, it makes my heart beat really fast, and then slowly but surely, I can kind of settle into it. It is our only practice. Yes, you can build muscle and get strong and be healthy and vibrant and do all of those things. Absolutely no question. But this practice is very important. The third invitation is to bring your whole self to the experience, no matter what it is. Whether you're meeting somebody with whom you don't disagree necessarily, or you're with somebody you absolutely adore. Bring your whole self. And also to lead under the auspices of that, lead with your humanity. And that will allow you to be led where you need to go. Number 4, I'm not going to do it. I know you heard this before. Biggie fans. Find a place of rest in the middle of things. Find a place of rest in the middle of things. We're doing that right now. I have no pictures. I have a notebook. I have nothing fancy here. Give your full attention to the breath, to the majesty, to the terror, to everything. And find a place of rest. Let's just sit for 1 minute. Okay, just sit tall. Find a place of rest in the middle of things. Luckily, the shouting has ended next door. How wonderful. And really become so familiar with this fundamental stillness at the heart of your being that you can begin to trust in your experience in a different way. Become so familiar with the fundamental stillness at the heart of your being that you can begin to trust your experience in a different way. And whether your eyes are closed or open, just let the breath flow. Do not allow any thought to change the way you're sitting. Hold yourself steady so that you can be a force for steadiness. For yourself, for your children, for your friends. And as you sit tall, the 5th invitation is to cultivate a mind of not knowing at all. This is a room full of people who know so much. Wow. But to cultivate a mind of not knowing is to remember that wherever we are is a call to wonder. Don't forget this. Wonder in the face of death, wonder in the face of happiness, wonder in the face of your friendships, wonder in the face of something that is really deadly uncomfortable. Wonder. And this practice of sitting, this practice of breathing and following the breath, this is intimacy practice. There is no value that we can place on a practice that leads us to more intimacy with ourselves and with other people. If we can teach this to the children, we'll have a better time when we are the elders and they are taking care of us. Each of us, in a way, is a bodhisattva. We're all sort of here because we're generating benefit for others, whether it's through commerce or our presence or our art, the cultures that we're creating, the communities that we've created. And this generating benefit comes from finding this place of rest in the middle of things and being able to be still in the face of real discomfort and not insinuate ourselves, but to actually allow things to unfold exactly as they're unfolding. And it's a practice. It's not an easy practice. It is perhaps the most difficult practice we've got, is to allow things to unfold the way they're unfolding. And just slowly open your eyes, but take in just a point on the floor somewhere about 45 degrees in front of you, or the back of the chair in front of you is fine. And allow your eyes to be very sort of panoramic, gentle. We have one final practice that will take us to the end of this time together. And it's called the 5 remembrances. So we've been through the 5 invitations. These 5 remembrances are going to change the way you think about yourself, your life, your purpose, your work. And the first, I'm going to read it, and you're going to repeat after me with these sort of downcast eyes, very relaxed through your gaze. No need to look at anyone else. Repeat after me. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. Take a deep breath. And exhale. And whether you're standing or sitting, please turn to someone near you. The one with the shorter hair goes first. You're going to look at each other. It's not my favorite practice. Kiko and Erin, you can do it with each other. Yeah. All right. The person with the shorter hair, please say to the other person, look into their left eye, please. Look into their left eye. The person with the shorter hair goes first. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. Longer hair. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. Thank each other. And now, thank you very much. Thank you. And now all together, we're going to whisper it one last time. Just going to whisper it all together. You can look wherever you wish. And we're just going to whisper it. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. You can close your eyes. It's many thousands of years old, that sutra. That was a translation from Thich Nhat Hanh called The 5 Remembrances. You'll be able to find it easily if you want to. And with your eyes closed, my wish for all of us and my invitation is that we may all continue turning bravely and courageously toward the difficult in our lives. That we may do so with a sense of purpose and intimacy, clarity within our hearts so that we become a source of clarity for other people. May we keep caring and reconnecting so we can live our lives with death in mind in a way that brings vibrancy and love to everything that we do. Thank you. We have about 2 minutes left here, and I would love to know if anyone would like to ask a question or make a, yes, please. There's a mic coming your way.
I understand that when you're doing this process, it's why you're doing it. But my question is about grief. You're forming an attachment to an individual, and I really struggle with grief. So I'm wondering, how do you, in your own process, manage to deal with all that grief of meeting someone, loving someone, and losing them?
Not neatly. It's very messy, clumsy, actually. Particularly at the very beginning, like I said, with Paula, and there were a few other patients who came through. And I was so green. I was so excited. I thought I could make a difference in their process, make it better, and right. All that is needed, if any of us are going to get closer and do any sort of volunteer work with the dying, all that is needed, as Frank has taught me, is that we sit down right in the corner of the room and practice. I don't need to be rubbing people's feet, giving them facials, and bringing them gifts. I just need to be present. And that is a way to mitigate the grief that I would otherwise be feeling. Because the grief would come if I was sort of, the big pendulum swing of, I'm serving, I'm helping. No, you're just present, like that. Any other questions? Yes, Holly.
Maybe what the language is for people that aren't quite as enlightened as what you just helped us do. But,
Say your question again.
The language, the words for somebody who's passing and isn't quite up to this frequency yet. It feels intuitive that they need, everything's going to be all right here, you're free to go. Is that, with your teaching, make sense?
Yeah, when my mom was dying, I didn't get a chance to say that part of the talk because I was running out of time, but when she was dying, somehow James and I were left alone in the room with her in the last couple of hours, and I actually was called to like get up on the bed. Her eyes were closed. She was very, very medicated. And I opened the lids of her eyes. I wanted to see what her eyes looked like before she died. I just wanted to see them. And they were so afraid. That was the moment that I decided I'm going to do something about this. This is not okay. I don't want to end up like this. And I said to her those words that you just said. It's okay, Mom. You can totally go. We've got our boys. We've got our men. We've got our friends. Everybody's here with us. Everything is okay. You can go. And she was gone within the next hour. You know, everything started just shutting down. I was getting the play-by-play from the nurse. And yeah, you can say something as simple as that, or you can say nothing at all. And my teacher, Roshi Joan Halifax, who spent thousands of hours at the bedside of the dying, always says, let them lead the process. You sit still and be present and let them lead. And sometimes there's nothing spoken, but your very presence is like more than enough to help, to serve. Yeah. I think we're out of time. Thank you so much.